Just a quick reminder of our disclaimer. All information and content shared in these episodes are intended for entertainment and general information only and should not be substituted for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Hello and welcome back to the show. Before I get stuck into the juicy content around professional development and point allocation today, I'm going to give you a couple of updates, what's happening in my world. First thing is the very first collaborative education program will be going live at the end of this month, or at least open for registrations. The first program is going to be Exercise Oncology, Breast Cancer Mastery. And this is going to be delivered in collaboration with Nicola Begley from the Active Studio. I'm really excited about this because it's the first collaborative program. So it gives a really cool platform for someone else to deliver their specialist knowledge, but it also allows me to connect with other or provide other education outside of like pelvic health, because obviously we know that's what my forte is or what my specialization is, but there's so many other women's health conditions, health concerns that I really, really want to cover, and know that there's heaps of exceptional professionals in these fields that do a lot better at teaching at it than I do. So I'm collaborating with them to bring to the platform a plethora of women's health education. So stay tuned for that. End of May is opening for enrollments. You'll see all the information through social media. Nicola will be jumping onto the podcast to share more about what's inside that program in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that if you are interested. But I'm really excited. I've been reading through the content inside the program, and it's really thorough. Super exciting. Something that I really wanted to bring to the education space was really in-depth, thorough programs in women's health to really help clinicians excel in their fields and feel really specialized or feel really knowledgeable, specialize if that's what they want to do, but also just have really, really great understandings of women's health and all the different conditions in general. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited, and I hope you are too. So hopefully I see you inside that program. The second little piece of exciting information is that I will be heading up to Queensland at the end of this week to meet with Tanisha in person. And Tanisha, if you know her from Instagram, Tanisha's Exercise Physiology, her and myself are running WAYS at the end of this year, the Women's Health and Exercise Summit, the virtual summit that we are so excited to bring to life, because this is something that I have really wished there was running for exercise physiologist, and I haven't found one in Australia. So I could be missing one. But anyway, this is going to be super specific for exercise physiologists. I'm meeting with her the end of this week. We're doing lots of planning and getting that coming along, I guess, in terms of the execution of the actual event. So I'm really excited to do that. I did meet with Tanisha for the very first time in Melbourne at the end of last year, 2024. So this will be the second time we've officially met in person, but we have known each other for quite a while. 3-4 years, I think now, coming up to. So I'm really excited to be collaborating with her on that one. If you're interested in the summit, it's going to be such a cool day. We have so many cool things planned. And you can join the waitlist already if you would like to. There is a link to the waitlist in the show notes for this. However, you can also head to hereducation.com.au, and there's a virtual events tab there that you can join the waitlist there. Or they're also through Instagram, link in bio, as well. So if you are wanting to join the waitlist and get access to the early bird ticket prices, but also just have the chance to swipe up one of those spots, highly recommend you do that. That waitlist is already significantly growing. So I'm really excited for that event. Tanisha's really excited too. We can't wait to share more with you, but I'm keen to head up to Queensland this week. One, because it's going to be, well, it's supposed to be sunny and warm. So for those of you who don't know, I live in regional Victoria and it's colder, but apparently it's raining in Queensland. So I'm not sure how that will really go, but I was looking forward to sunny Queensland, but we'll see how that goes. So that's this week. But I'm also planning my presentation for the ESSA conference in May. So if you haven't already seen, I was asked to present at the ESSA conference on social media. Woohoo! So I was pretty excited about this because I have used social media as a marketing strategy for my EP business as well as her education. And when they asked me, I was like, I can definitely talk about social media. And so I'm focusing a lot more on the how-tos of content creation. So if you are heading to the ESSA conference in May in Hobart, please let me know. I would love to meet as many of you as possible. Get a little selfie for the gram or for your own phone, whatever, and just meet and say hi and connect because I work at home by myself. So sometimes it feels like I don't know anyone in the industry, but it would be really awesome to connect with you. And if you don't have a ticket already and you're thinking about it, get one and come and hang out. We've got a couple of other people that I know are going, so we're organizing a meetup, maybe a couple of drinks, although I don't really drink, but one maybe because I usually get drunk off one drink, so I'll be wasted. And maybe some dinner. Anyway, let me know if you're coming. I'd love to meet you, but I'm really excited about that. I've got to plan my presentation. I have all these really cool ideas, and it basically depends on the tech capabilities on the day. But I'm also feeling really, really nervous because I've seen the lineup of speakers at the event, and I'm like, man, these people have some serious qualifications, and I'm just little old me on Instagram running my business or trying to. So I feel a bit out of my depth, but I'm really excited. I feel really, really grateful that I was actually even given this opportunity too. So I'm really passionate about the role that social media plays in business, especially for brand development and your own personal brand development. So I'm definitely going to be touching on that too, in regard to the importance of employees having a platform to present themselves to an audience that is potentially going to work with them. And I know that this is a touchy subject in many clinics with business owners. So I'd love to talk about that too. But anyway, so I'm planning that. Need to get a move along with it, I must say, but I'm planning that. And aside from that, I'm also working on two more collaboration programs that will be launching later on this year with other clinicians who are specialists in their field as well. So you can stay tuned for that, but that won't be until probably August and October that those two will come out. I'll share more details with that as they approach, but they're really cool topics as well. I'm really excited to share those. But yeah, stay tuned. There's a lot coming in the education space this year. And the last thing, which is probably a little bit too much to commit to, but I've really thought about doing a lot more. Like, I'd love to do a lot more travel and meet other clinicians and share my passion. For those who are maybe not so interested directly in women's health, but maybe in generalist clinics where they need more women's health education. And I would love to connect with some maybe clinicians or business owners who are interested in having PD presented at their clinics. So if you are listening right now thinking, oh my gosh, me, I would love for you to come and talk about pelvic health or women's health, endometriosis. I can cover so many different topics. Please reach out to me. You can either send me an email to hello@hereducation.com.au. You can also reach me at hello@herexercisephysiology.com.au. Send me a message on Instagram if you'd prefer. But I'd love to just spread my wings a little bit and do a bit of traveling in my van. And present some education to people who maybe just need a little bit of women's health stuff, but don't really want to dive in. So if you're a clinician or you're a business owner and that is of interest to you, or you think you might like to talk to your boss about it, please do. And if you're interested, please let me know because I'd love to see whether there's any interest in this. And plan a couple of trips and then maybe run some social events too so that we can all be friends. So yeah, that's a lot for me in the background planning. And it's exciting. It's really, really exciting. I feel like I just want to fast forward and see what it's like at the end of this year and watch all these events unfold. But that's not possible. So we'll take one day at a time and watch it unfold as it happens. But thank you for being here and being part of the journey and my little community. I really appreciate you. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. So that's a really big thank you for being part of it. And if you really like the stuff that I share, especially the podcast or even the social media side of things, I'd really appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing to the channels, following along and spreading the word about what I'm doing because it's I'm sure you're aware it's really quite hard to like reach new people and reach let them know that I'm even here. So if you think there's anyone that would find any of this valuable, I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to leave a review on the podcast, that is also really, really helpful. But even if you want to just like let me know that you like it. I know I'm notorious for just listening to things and watching and not commenting and not letting the person know, but creating content is actually quite challenging and sometimes it feels a little disheartening. And I'm sure if you create content, you'll feel the same. So when someone says like, "Hey, thanks for doing this. I love it. It's really awesome." It actually helps me. It really makes a difference to your day as a creator, because there is a lot of fear around creating content that people might judge or comment on. So if you feel the need to, please, I'd love to hear it, whether it's actually helpful for you and whether you do enjoy it. It really does mean a lot to me and helps me keep the passion alive for creating more. So yeah. Anyway, that's the little bit of housekeeping updates at my end, what's been going on. But today I really want to talk on something that may stir the pot, shall we say? Or it might be a little bit controversial. I don't really know. But I have had multiple conversations with clinicians, fellow business owners, or fellow course educators about the issues behind CPD points and creating PD because I really feel like from a lot of the conversations that I've had and I see within the Facebook groups and other people's conversations that there is a lot of emphasis put on how many points do I get for this? Or this is only 1 hour of learning or one PD point. So, like, it seems like a lot of money to be investing when that's all I get from it. And that really just sits, not, I just feel like we should really be shifting the narrative around PD and point allocation. And this is because I personally have been in multiple different education opportunities that are got nothing to do with exercise physiology, but they're just general education. And I have paid $150 for 4 10-minute videos that was absolutely useless and very much false advertising about what was included in the learning content. And then I've also spent $150 on on-demand conference recordings that were worth 7 times more than what I actually paid for it in a sense of the value within the content. And I really see that this is something that it's very personal and it's very preference based. And if you don't agree with what I have to say, that is completely fine. But I personally believe that as an industry, I hear a lot about people don't want to pay this much money for exercise physiologists, or I just don't feel like people value what I do, or like I feel like I'm worth more money, but people don't want to pay it, or whatever that might actually be. And I really do sometimes think that a lot of it stems from the education and how much we're willing to invest in education, but also how much it's worth to us from PD points, and how we have to have our 20 points per year. And that usually looks like, how do I get them? Or I'm rushing to do my PD points at the end of the year rather than actually diving into learning and doing what you want to do and investing money and time into actually developing your skills rather than just getting the points for the sake of getting the points. So this is something that has come up in conversation so much that I really wanted to talk about this, and from the perspective of my views and also what my platform, Her Education, will be about, because I am a huge, huge believer in value over quantity. I do this in my consult work. I do this in the way I provide inside the mentorship program. And I appreciate this personally when I am at a service, is like, I want the value out. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how long it takes or how long it doesn't take. I'm not paying per minute or per hour. I don't care if you don't give me an hour. What I'm here is for the value and the result at the end of the day. So when I have sat in on 60-minute webinars where it is fluff and statistics and links to research without any exercise prescription whatsoever, no other templates, no other resources, I just find that a little bit useless at the point of where I am in my career, unless it's something really new. And in some cases, I've attended 20-minute presentations where it is absolutely jam-packed full of value, and it has completely changed the way that I treat my clients for whatever health condition that might be. And I really truly believe that we need to shift away from this, like, well, it's only one point per learning hour, so it's not worth the money, or I'm only going to get half a point for that, so it should be super cheap, or whatever it is that whole mindset is around at the moment. And I can completely understand that allocating points to things is really quite hard and quite challenging, and that does make sense from a learning hours perspective. However, the education that I am aiming to develop and have available for people is based on high quality, jam packed, fluffless education, where the point of this is to provide lots of resources, high quality, be able to transform the skills of the clinician so that they can leave knowing a lot more depth, a lot more strategies, a lot more programming, a lot more clinical application, real time case studies where we are able to problem solve, like what didn't go right with that person, what happened when they came back and they didn't quite follow their program, or the exercise didn't really work for them, or they didn't get the result that they thought they were going to get to. Those are the really, really, really challenging parts of our work, which are never really addressed in PD. It's always very much like, here's the information, here's a little bit of guidance on prescription, that it was perfect. The client was solved. Everything worked out great. That's what we should do. And I just don't think that's realistic, and it doesn't provide us with enough value to really be exceptional clinicians. And I think if we're trying to change this motto around how we are seen in terms of our value, and where we place in allied health, then we need to feel like we're valued more. We need to have really, really thorough knowledge. We need to excel in a lot of different things. And a lot of people already do. Please don't take this the wrong way and think that I think no one is. I definitely think we do. But I think the narrative around this could be significantly stronger, from my opinion. So I just really wanted to talk about this because I'm about to drop all of these education, and I get these questions a lot. Is this accredited by ESSA? How many points is this actually worth? What's the price of the webinar or the Spark session? And I really think that the questions kind of need to shift around, like, what is this going to actually teach me? How does this change my actual clinical skill set and my ability to serve my clients, get results, be able to charge more money that I'm actually worth, or feel like I'm of more value, or have clients say, no one's ever helped me like you have before in this particular issue. And I'm sure there's a lot of that going around already. Like I said, I don't know a lot, heaps of clinicians in the field, but what I do hear is these repetitive themes. So I think it's really important to start planting seeds around changing the mindset around this. And if you're currently in the mindset of like, I just need to get my 20 PD points and like, I'll just get them whenever and get them, and you're not really thinking about what you're diving into, whether it's of value to you, is this actually going to be of like transformative in a sense of what you're looking for in PD, then you probably really need to start shifting your mindset around this and how you're viewing it. I think that I personally probably was like that back when I was out of uni and found PD points so annoying. Like, oh, I have to get these 20 points and I don't really want to do all this extra study. Maybe I haven't found anything that I actually like. But now I can honestly say that my PD points are through the roof every year. If I actually logbooked every single point, I would be in the hundreds, because the amount of extra research, the amount of reading, the courses I sign up to, self-education that I do, business-based education that I do, all the things that I think are super relevant for enhancing my clinical skill set, is not just about points. I actually don't care. If I had to pay $500 for a 20-minute piece of education that completely transformed how I treat and got results, it would be 100% worth it for me. And that's personally how I see it. That's how I see any learning opportunity, whether it's PD, whether it's life lessons, hopefully not many life lessons, or whether it's like a book. If I was to read a book and I got one piece of valuable information that changed how I did things for the better, it's worth it for me. So I really, really encourage you to start thinking a little bit more about PD, steering away from like, how many points is this and is it worth it? Or think about more asking better questions. Ask questions around, what is inside this program? What am I actually going to get? What do I learn from this? What transformation am I going to have in my knowledge? Is this actually going to help me? rather than, the point-based thing. So yeah, I really wanted to address this because my goal for her education is to provide really high quality, valuable PD that really changes how you treat and prescribe exercise. So that's what I'm endeavoring to do. That is the standard that I am trying to set with the collaborative educators that are coming on board. So things that we have in motion for them to also provide those goods, I think is also really important. So I wanted to share that because if you're starting to see things pop up and you're wondering like, oh, this is a bit different to what is normal in our industry, I'm shaking that up for this reason. And I can honestly say that I have personally changed the way I treat and looked at my pricing structures differently based on my level of knowledge and value that I want to actually provide rather than, oh, you get 45 minutes or you get 60 minutes or you get 90 minutes. And that's why the price is like this. I think the value and the result is the most important thing. So have a little bit of think about that too. Maybe in your own world, what are you doing within your consults and your services that are value driven and value based and results driven rather than time for money or like you get this if you pay this type thing. It's a bit of a different mindset shift, but it really, really helps and it's really insightful to see how that feeds into multiple different areas of life. So there you go. That's my little personal opinion about PD points and how they're actually allocated at the moment. And if you don't agree with me, that is completely fine because it is just an opinion. But it's something that I just wanted to highlight and hope that maybe it resonates with some of you that go, yeah, actually, you know what? Maybe I could change the way I see PD. But anyway, stay tuned for more PD. And if you have any questions about courses that are coming up for us, in regard to this type of stuff, or there's things that you would really like to see, please reach out. Don't be shy. Send me an email. Let me know because I'd really I ultimately, the feedback and the insight from you as the clinician and what we're providing for you is the most important thing. And we can change anything inside all of this if it doesn't suit the needs of the clinician. So, yeah, I would really appreciate any insight that you have about the courses, the programs, what you'd like to see, the PD, the points, whatever that might be. I'm very open to the feedback. So thank you. But that is it for today. Very short, very sweet, to the point, a little bit of a rant, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it and I hope it shifts your mindset. Otherwise, thanks again for listening and being here. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.